Same old stories about the American Revolution.
Enough about George already. We want to hear from someone else, like
Betsy Ross.
Betsy Ross.
Finally, the woman who sewed the first American flag tells us all about the stitch heard around the world.
And now everybody, here she is, the seamstress of the Revolution,
The Empress of Embroidering.
the Sultan of the Saddle Stitch,
The Guru of Needlework. Betsy Ross!
Tell us, Betsy, tell us. Shooby-dooby, shooby-doo-shoo. Come on, Betsy, tell us. Shooby-dooby, shooby-doo-shoo. Tell us how you're sewing. Helped us win the war. Tell us, Betsy, tell us. The tales you told before. Tell us, Betsy, tell us. Shooby-dooby, shooby-doo-shoo. Come on, Betsy, tell us. Shooby-dooby, shooby-doo-shoo. Tell us how your tailor flew that valley fort. Tell us, Betsy, tell us. The one how you saved George. Tell us how you knitted muskets.
I felt it was my duty.
And then crocheted a cannon.
Oh, that one was a beauty. Oh, and it sparkled.
Tell us, Betsy, tell us. Come on, Betsy, tell us. Tell us how your sewing helped us win the war. Tell us, Betsy, tell us. The one that you told me before. When you stitched the revolution,
You know, I'm double jointed.
you sewed the Constitution.
Know that I needle pointed. And didn't it turn out fine?
Tell us, Betsy, tell us. Come on, Betsy, tell us. Tell us how your tailor flew that valley fort. Tell us, Betsy, tell us. The one how you saved Shooby-dooby, shooby-doo. Shoo-shooby-dooby, shooby-doo-shoo.
Can you tell us about the American Revolution again, Betsy? Oh my, it's been so many years. Please? Well, okay. Well, let's see. A good place to start is when England defeated France and Spain in a long war.
My dad told me about that. The colonists helped the British defeat the French here in America in 1763.
Yes, but the French and Indian War was just a small part of a much bigger conflict, a patch in the quilt of world politics. England became the leading power in the world. How King George III gloated.
Excuse you, Majesty, we've won the 7 Years' War.
Well, it's about time. We've been playing for how many years now?
7?
It's quite a coincidence, isn't it?
Yes, my lord. A victory is especially beneficial for our prospects in America.
America, how splendid. Give me those fur hats. You can't beat America for fur hats.
Even better, Your Majesty.
Better fur hats, you don't need those sunglasses.
Your Majesty, you've driven the French out of most of America. The entire North is ours, as well as Florida and everything east of Mississippi. You rule the seas. Our colonies are rich and well organized. England is the most powerful country in the world.
In other words,
That's right, Your Majesty.
You the man!
who the man?
You the man!
Who the man?
You the man!
Rootin' tootin' right on the man.
We spangled Spain. We fought the French. We with the world. Yeah, we're a mensch. Our colonies are our great joy. Hey, America, our favorite toy. And it's great to be an empire. Everyone shines your shoes. And it's great to be an empire. Nobody can refuse. It's great to be an empire. It's early days, in its early ways. It's good to be an empire, 'cause it pays. Now we're in debt, up to our knees. So where to turn? The colonies. They fought with us to win the war. Hey, America, what they fought for. And it's great to be an empire. Everyone shines your shoes. And it's great to be an empire. Nobody can refuse. It's great to be an empire in its early days, in its early ways. It's great to be an empire, 'cause it pays. It's great to be an empire in its early days, in its early ways. It's great to be an empire, 'cause it pays.
What do they mean it pays? Does being an empire come with a salary and retirement plan and stuff like that?
Even better, England was in debt for over 140 million pounds. King George in Parliament figured the colonies could help pay.
140 million pounds? Wow, like you need a diet for months to lose that.
Pounds as in English money, dear. The British in Parliament passed a series of acts that placed duties and taxes on the colonists. By 1767, those colonists weren't happy.
Mr. Otis, what's the latest?
John Adams, I'm glad to run into you. It's not a British outrage. They passed the Townshend Act, which will import duties on just about everything.
I didn't think it could get any worse. They already started the Hat Act, the Wool Act, the Iron Act, the Currency Act, the Sugar Act.
The British just can't get their acts together.
Remember the Stamp Act?
A direct tax on everything we printed, from cards to calendars.
I love what you said. What was it? Taxation without representation is exploitation?
Taxation without representation is tyranny. It's an
What?
aphorism.
You did? It doesn't really rhyme though.
It's not supposed to rhyme.
Well, of course, but all the good ones rhyme. Take Ben Franklin's maxims. A barn goes a soaring, little strokes for the great oaks, plow deep will sluggard sleep.
Okay, I get it, but the British have not been treating us as equals, but as subjects. They prohibited us from sailing past the applications, and commerce between here and England must be by British vessels.
You're right, this has got to stop.
They're taxing my coffee, my paper, my wine. They're paying for theirs, which would ought to be mine. They're taxing my tax and adding on a fee. They call them levies. They feel like a tax to me. They're taxing my sugar, they're taxing my faith. I don't think there's nothing I've got that they ain't. They're taxing my tax and adding on a fee. They call them duties. They feel like a tax to me. Taxation, taxation, without representation. It's not right time to fight. La 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 la. Taxation, taxation, without representation. It's not right time to fight. La 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 la. English goods and packages, and what did they do?
They sent warships into our harbor.
Did we relent? Never! What about the Boston Massacre?
Right, the British shot and killed 3 unarmed colonists.
Did we give up? Never! And then they had to repeal the Townshend Acts in 1770.
Yeah!
And here we are, 3 years later, they've passed the Tea Act. Are we going to keep paying taxes on tea?
Never!
They've shipped £500,000 of tea to America, driving down the price of tea. Are we going to buy it? Well, are we?
Come on, Mr. Adams. We have to have a spot of tea. I mean, we're only human. The prices are so low.
Listen to me. Today it's tea. Tomorrow it's sugar. The next day it's those nice fuzzy slippers with bunny ears that keep your feet so cozy in the winter.
Not our slippers.
Yes, your slippers. How long are you going to keep letting the British kick us around? It's time for action.
Right.
It's time we stopped calling soccer football.
Right.
It's time we started riding on the right-hand side of the road.
Right.
And it's time we dressed up as natives and dumped those 342 chests of tea right into the harbor.
Right.
Down, 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 just dump it off the books. Down, 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 let's see if it can float. Down, 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 it's sinking in the sea. Something's brewing, boys, and it ain't tea. Something's brewing, boys, and it ain't tea. Trouble's brewing for the crown. Tell them all in London town. London town. All the lovely tea just drowned. Send some more. It's going down. Send some more. It's going down. Send some more. It's going down. Down, down, down. Just dump it off the books. Down, down, down. Let's see if it can float. Down, down, down. It's sinking in the sea. Something's brewing, boys, and it ain't tea. Something's brewing, boys, and it ain't tea. Something's brewing, boys, and it ain't tea. I can't believe the colonists destroyed all that tea. Yes, in Maryland they burned an entire ship, the tea, and all the rest of its cargo. King George must have been mad. Oh, the English were really getting their threads in a tangle. They closed Boston Harbor, put restrictions on town meetings, and moved the trials for officials who killed colonists from America to England. Betsy Ross, I'm so glad you're home. John Jay, you look like you're about to bust a stitch. I've been trying to knit a sweater for my Dutch hood, and something's gone terribly wrong. Oh my, let me take a look at that. But Betsy, what do we do after the British shut down Boston Harbor? Why, we called the first Continental Congress.
Were you there, Mr. J?
Sure was. 55 men gathered, including John and Sam Adams, George Washington, and Patrick Henry.
I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty, give me death.
Wow, who's that? Patrick Henry?
Don't encourage him, children, or he'll just keep doing it. Did all the colonists want independence? Well, at the point, most of us just wanted the legislation repealed. We called for a complete boycott of all British goods, but when our petitions were rejected, we began to collect muskets.
And that's when the British decided to send troops from Boston to seize weapons and arrest colonial leaders, right?
And thus the famous ride of Paul Revere. Paul Revere? Sweet boy. I think I once darned a horse for him. The redcoats are coming. The redcoats are coming. Calm down, Paul. It's nearly midnight. You'll get the kids.
We're awake! The redcoats are coming!
Sit down, children. Your father's a bit nervous. Of course I'm nervous. The British are heading out of Boston to arrest our colonial leaders
and take our weapons and supplies.
Are they coming by land or by sea?
I don't remember. I think it's one if by land and one if by sea, or one if by land and two if by sea. By three means I think they're coming by blimp.
Take it easy. You have to go warn the people of Lexington and Concord.
Yes, I must go at once.
Ride and warn John Hancock, alert Sam Adams too. The British will arrest them, their fate is up to you. Hurry, Paul dear, hurry, do not stop to chat. Paul, what are you doing?
I forgot my hat.
Ride on Paul Revere, ride on Paul Revere. Get on out of here, dear Paul Revere. Sent out to Concord, they must hear the news. The British will arrest them, and there's no time to lose. Turn on the division, they must take a stance. Paul, what are you doing?
I forgot my pants.
Ride on Paul Revere, ride on Paul Revere. Get on out of here, dear Paul Revere. Ride on Paul Revere, ride on Paul Revere. Get on out of here, dear Paul Revere. Then ride out to Concord, warn them all once more. The British will arrest him, that we have kept in store. Tell them all militia, they must come in force. Paul, what are you doing?
I forgot my horse.
Ride on Paul Revere, ride on Paul Revere. Get on out of here, dear Paul Revere.
Hear ye, hear ye. On this day, July 4th, 1776, the Second Continental Congress is now in session in the Independence Hall, Philadelphia. The Honorable John Hancock presiding.
Tom Jefferson, where's John Hancock?
Oh, hello, Ben. Well, I said tonight to get some coffee cake.
Coffee cake?
Of course, what's a Continental Congress without a Continental breakfast?
I heartily agree, Tom, but we already have a selection of coffee juices and those delicious individually wrapped danishes. COVID compliance for Mrs. Shimkus, of course.
True, but I thought John needed something to do this morning. He's been acting a bit strange since we voted to endorse the Declaration of Independence this morning.
A brilliant document, Tom, and now we must all hang together, or surely we shall all hang separately.
It's been over a year since the first shots were fired between us and the British. Just a month later, we elected George Washington to head the Continental Army. We've been unofficially at war ever since.
King George has rejected our efforts at reconciliation.
Tom Paine put it nicely when he wrote that these are the times that try men's souls.
Yes, that was well put. It doesn't rhyme, though, does it?
What?
I think my maxims always stick a bit better with a cute rhyme. Vessels large may venture more, but little boat should keep near shore. See how it flows?
Sure, Ben, but I don't think...
Or remember this, here Scug lies snug as a bug in a rug. What exactly does that mean? That's not the point. I've got 4 rhyming words out of 10. That's a 40% rhyme rate. You won't find that in any of the British poets. Check out Shakespeare or Pope. They've got a 10, maybe 15% rhyme rate max. That's great, Ben. Great? It's crucial. The British may have better trained soldiers, they may have more money, experience, and weapons, but America's got their arms. Victory will be ours. Oh, here comes John Hancock.
Where is it? Where is it?
What are you looking for?
The Declaration of Independence.
It's quite exciting, isn't it?
You bet. Where is it?
Here, in Tom's head, he wrote it. Tom, recite that bit about the self-evident truths again.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, that's great, but where is it? Where is the paper itself? I'm ready.
Ready for what?
Ready to sign it, of course.
John, I told you this morning, the final document won't be ready to sign for a month or so.
But I'm ready now. I have been practicing.
I don't have Franklin's eloquence. I don't have Tommy's common sense. But then my signature's intense. Tom, where do I sign? Washington and all his staff may fight real hard on our behalf. But you should see my autograph. Tom, where do I sign? Ooh, where do I sign? Where do I sign? Ooh, where do I sign? Where do I sign? Where do I sign? Practicing on all the walls, on tablecloths and bathroom stalls. Good thing we don't yet have baseballs. Tom, where do I sign? He's signing stuff around the clock. He signed my head, he signed my sock. No, you can't stop my John Hancock. Tom, where do I sign? Ooh, where do I sign? Where do I sign? Ooh, where do I sign? Where do I sign? Where do I sign?
Did the colonists really think they could defeat the British Empire? Well, we definitely had some disadvantages.
I'll say there was no real unity. The colonies distrusted each other.
And there was no central authority to raise money through taxes.
The army was hard to organize and nearly impossible to keep together. And don't forget, probably no more than 1/3 of the colonists even wanted independence all that much.
And there were still hundreds of thousands who remained loyal to England. True, but the British soldiers were 3,000 miles away from home, and it was a huge area to try to control. And they had second-rate generals.
Meanwhile, the colonists had George Washington, who turned out to be a fantastic leader.
And don't forget the French, who were always ready to help anyone who might hurt England.
But you're forgetting one of the biggest advantages.
I was wondering when you'd remember.
What?
My flag, of course. I tried to talk them into a red, white, and blue lounge chair with a matching ottoman, but they said their budget was limited to a flag. Oh, your flag was wonderful, but I was thinking of how the colonists fought dirty. I beg your pardon? Oh, I didn't mean it that way. I mean, it was literally dirty. It blended in with the scenery.
I tell you, it ain't right. They should stand up and fight like we do.
Yeah, instead of sneaking around with those fur caps
like you can't even see him. It ain't fair.
I mean, look at us, all polished up, bright and red. They can see us coming miles away. That's the proper way to fight.
Exactly. We stand up straight and wait our turn to shoot and be shot at. It's gentlemanly. None of this going around.
Well, I'm on 'em. You won't find one of them Minutemen sneaking up on me. No, sir.
In the brush, on the ground, we are here all around. In a tree, that you can't find me, boys, that you can't find me, that you can't find me.
Channel Home Shopping Network. Alice, what do we have for our shoppers tonight?
For tonight, we've got a memorabilia from the American Revolutionary War.
Excellent. Well, let's get right to it. We've got over 6 years of war to choose from, with fighting every colony more than a dozen important battles.
Our first item, number J57, is from John Burger, the British general who lost the Battle of Saratoga.
His boot. Wow. I'm guessing we don't have many of those left.
Just two. They come from the famous battle in 1777, which gave the colonists a badly needed boost.
Smell that, Alice?
What?
Go on, take a whiff. You know what that smells like?
A really, really old boot?
No, it smells like victory from defeat. And you can get victory from defeat by phoning us right now to purchase Jenner Burgoyne's shoe. Victory from defeat. Defeat, get it? So what's that lovely item over there, Alice?
This B-65, a snowball from Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, where George Washington and his army were forced to spend a devastating winter.
These things are going fast, folks.
We sold out in just in 15 minutes the last time we offered these at this unbelievable training price.
Just one per customer, please.
We have a few minutes till our stock completely melts under these studio lights.
And we've got a satisfying customer on the phone. Hi there, who are you? Where are you calling from? And tell us just how much you love your snowball.
Hello, am I on the air?
You sure are.
I'm Comte de Rochambeau. I'm from France.
How wonderful General Rochambeau arrived from France in 1780 with over 6,000 troops to aid the colonists. French help was decisive in winning the war.
Rochambeau, you say, didn't you invent the chocolate eclairs?
No, I was commander of the French troops at Yorktown alongside George Washington and his men. I thought you viewers should know.
Terrific. Now tell us how much you love your snowball. You probably served it with some fancy French sauce. Am I right?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm a general, not a chef.
Ah, those French cooks, so modest.
Our next incredible item is being brought to us right now by John Paul Jones.
Hi, Alice. I hope the American Navy gets sea legs and even defeat a number of British ships off the coast of England.
So what's that lovely item over there?
This is a bun from the coat that British General Cornwallis wore when he surrendered to George Washington in our French house in Yorktown, 1781. It's a lovely brass finish and doesn't see.
Amazing. Hold it up so our viewers can get a good look at it.
Very kind. You can back the trader.
I guess that will do for us folks too. Good night. And stay tuned next on American History Channel. We have a new documentary on Grover Cleveland, the British general, man, myth, city, or Sesame Street puppet. Yay.
What did we do after the British surrender, Mr. J?
I would tell Ben Franklin and John Adams were on the Treaty of Paris in 1783. The British conceded all the land from the Mississippi River from Spanish Florida to the Great Lakes.
That was great.
Well, it was complicated. The Articles of Confederation, which had been the basis for the central government, intentionally gave little power to Congress.
Couldn't they do anything?
We did just pass the Northwest Ordinance that provided for the eventual incorporation of new states from all the land from the Mississippi and Ohio rivers.
And I macrame'd the Liberty Bell. Now, Betsy, you've got to stop exaggerating. Dropped a stitch on the seam, though, didn't I? Nasty little crack opened up. I think a few pleats would have helped.
Now, Betsy, you know this isn't just here. Let's listen to the colonists.
What more could we ask for? We've got 13 independent states and an initial confederation. There's no executive branch in the central government. We don't need another king around here.
But Congress has no power to control commerce or enforce its tax collection program.
Exactly, it's perfect. It's all up to the individual states.
I don't know. Are you sure this is a good thing?
What could go wrong?
13 little countries. 13 little countries. Can't wait. There's no one they rub it with. Just throwing around his weight. 13 little countries. 13 little countries.
14th, 1787, the Constitutional Convention is now in session in Philadelphia. The Honorable George Washington presiding. Good afternoon, Mr. Madison.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hamilton.
Good afternoon. James, we have important decisions to make.
Yes, we do, Alexander. Look out, it's Aaron Burr.
Ah!
I was just joking. I love doing that.
That's not funny.
Alexander, lighten up a little bit. We're already making good progress. We've agreed to have 3 branches of government, legislative, executive, and judiciary, that will all balance and check each other.
Yes, a wonderful plan. But there are even more important matters. I need your advice.
What's on your mind, Alexander?
You know, I favor a strong central bank, and now I'm faced with a huge decision.
What is it?
Which do you think looks more impressive? My left profile or my right?
What?
When we start printing money, I'm just dying to get my picture on one of the bills. George Washington's already claimed the $1, so I'm shooting for the 10. Personally, I think my left side makes me look taller. What do you think?
Alexander, that's not what I mean by lightening up. We have some real issues here. Look, big states and small states still can't agree on how they should be represented in Congress.
We big states have more people. We're not going to share equally with you little states.
Oh yeah? Well, we're not going to take proportional representation of both houses of Congress. We're just as important as you.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
And that's why we now have one legislative body, the House of the Proportional Representation, and that's why bigger states have more Congress people.
And the other house, the Senate, gives the same number of representatives to each state, no matter how many people live there.
That's right, like so much else in our Constitution. It was a compromise. Like deciding to count a slave as 3/5 of a person, We weren't perfect, Betsy. I know it, but we did stop the trade slave 20 years later. Yes, dear. Altogether, it was a beautifully stitched document. Did everyone like the Constitution? Oh, no. Some thought it gave the central government too much power. Others thought the states had too much authority. I wrote some of the Federalist Papers to convince people to vote for it. Did it work? Well, it took a while. We had to promise a Bill of Rights would be added. The Constitution was officially adopted by June 21st, 1788.
That first election must have been something.
It was. The members of the House of Representatives were elected by each citizen by each state. The senators were elected by each legislator of each state. George Washington was anonymously elected president by the Electoral College.
The Electoral College? How does that work?
No one knows, dear. It's a complete mystery. Please, Betsy, it's just a bit complicated. Well, let's let these fellows here explain, since they're on their way to participate in the first Electoral College.
So, how exactly does it work?
Dunno.
Well, look in the Constitution. Read the first sentence.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and all posterity, who ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
I said just the first sentence.
That was just the first sentence.
Wow. Well, find the part about Electoral College.
Here it is in Article 2. The electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for two persons, of whom one at least shall not be inhabitants of the same state with themselves.
Not be inhabitant of the same state with themselves. How does it work?
Dunno, here maybe this will help. But in choosing the president, the vote shall be taken by states. A representation from each state having one vote. A quorum for this purpose shall consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the state. And a majority of all the states shall be necessary to a choice.
What does that mean?
Dunno, but what the heck, we get to vote.
was a good man, but he did leave out some of the more important parts, like the time I wove a ship for the Navy out of nothing but pine needles, or how I sewed together all the pants of the British Army so they couldn't run up Bunker Hill, and the time...
Tell us, Betsy, tell us. Shooby-dooby, shooby-doo-shoo. Come on, Betsy, tell us. Shooby-dooby, shooby-doo-shoo. Tell us how your sewing helped us win the war. Tell us, Betsy, tell us the tale you told before. Tell us, Betsy, tell us. Come on, Betsy, tell us. Tell us how you tailored food at Valley Court. Tell us, Betsy, tell us the one how you say shooby-dooby, shooby-doo, shoo, shooby-dooby, shooby-doo-shoo.
All right, another round of applause for the fourth grade. I just wanted to say thank you so much to everybody for helping us put this play together, especially to all of you parents who helped practice play lines and songs, and especially to the Sinelli, Sansone, and Modini families who helped decorate the stage today. It looks absolutely wonderful. I still can't get over how great it is and how fantastic all of you guys were today. Thank you so much for all of your hard work, and I'm so, so proud of you. Thank you.
We'd like to thank you for the wonderful job that you did. I'm not sure the Continental Congress was as long as your play. You did so much. I cannot believe how many songs you had, how many great history concepts you had in here. And I just hope you really paid attention. That was like a whole semester's worth of history. Wonderful, wonderful job. A lot of very talented people in this class, so thank you, all of you. You know, a lot of kids had to leave early, and a lot of people went away. They lost out, because those of us who were here got the greatest gift of all, that gift in the fourth grade. So thank you for making art, the gift of our vacation be so special. Very proud of you, and thank you, Ms. Price, and the fourth grade. Great job.
For Ms. Price, she worked so hard